Hi, this is Luke with the Gamer, and here is a beginner's guide to the Callisto Protocol. Throughout the Callisto Protocol, you're put into ever increasingly perilous situations involving plenty of powerful and creepy monsters, and you're tasked with surviving it all. The game helps you a little bit by providing various tutorials, but it doesn't hold your hand too much, and the title certainly doesn't give you all the tips and tricks you may need. After all, there's a bunch of things you can do or avoid doing to improve your experience and increase your chances of surviving Black Iron Prison. So here are some tips that will help you get through, or at least survive, the first few hours of the Callisto Protocol. As with many survivor horror titles, you don't have an abundance of health or healing items in the game, so you need to limit how much HP you're losing in every fight. And the easiest way to drain your health is by being overly aggressive. After all, you're not controlling a superhero with unlimited amounts of energy. The more you attack in quick succession, the slower you become, making it easier for the opposing creatures to get the upper hand. The best method for the average fight is to be cautious and a bit defensive. Make sure you dodge their strikes first, because that'll leave them vulnerable to your own strikes. Inventory management can either be really fun like Resident Evil 4, or it can be really annoying in some other games. In the Callisto Protocol, inventory management doesn't seem to be a major feature at first. However, when you get a bit into the game, you'll soon realise that you have very few slots, and they fill up fairly quickly. And it doesn't help that most things don't stack. Therefore, you need to keep things in order, meaning you have to go into the inventory screen and hold the drop prompt on certain items. Dropping things can be hard to do since pretty much everything you find will be useful in some way, but you don't have the pocket space for all of it. Thus, sometimes you need to make a hard decision to drop some vital items on the ground to make room for the other things you find. As this is a survival horror game, supplies are pretty limited. However, what's even more limited are Callisto credits. This is the name given to the main currency in the game. You can spend them at every reforge on upgrades to your weapons and gear, or on health injectors and ammo. However, your credits are better spent on upgrades. This is because getting the right upgrades can make your attempts to survive this horrific prison a lot more pleasant. And you don't get an abundance of credits throughout the game, so you shouldn't waste them on supplies unless you're in a really tight spot and you need them more than anything, as you can usually find supplies along the way. While there are plenty of open world horror titles out there, the Callisto Protocol isn't one of them. In fact, it's a fairly linear game, which makes it more atmospheric and scary. That doesn't mean there's only a single path at all times though. There are a bunch of little side areas and locations you can find if you head off the beaten path. It's a good idea to explore these places when you find them, as they usually contain useful items and the occasional collectible. And as the game is so dark, these additional paths are easily missed, so keep an eye out. The main protagonist, Jacob, is no super soldier. He's a seemingly regular pilot trying to survive the horrors of the Black Iron Prison. Therefore, if you're going to make it through this dangerous ordeal, you need to be smart. And an intelligent thing to do is to not rush into every battle head first. There are moments in the game where stealth becomes a viable option. Anytime this opportunity occurs, you should take advantage of it. After all, when nobody knows you're there, you have the option to creep up behind most enemies and quickly perform a takedown, killing them instantly, which saves you both health and ammo. In most survival horror games, you don't get an abundance of ammunition. For example, in some of the scariest Resident Evil games, it's rare to find bullets to begin with, and the Callisto Protocol follows this same rule. Therefore, you would naturally be more hesitant to use your ammo in any fight, but this creates an issue in your inventory. Not only do bullets take up a spot in your limited inventory, they only come in small stacks. Thus, if you hoard a lot of ammunition, you won't have any space for health injectors, energy converters, or batteries. So don't be afraid to fire some bullets at less impressive enemies, as long as you've still got enough for any stronger monsters who may turn up. One of the things that initially caught the eye about the Callisto Protocol is that it's directed by one of the co-creators of Dead Space, and fans of that series will certainly know the importance of stomping on enemy corpses. Callisto informs you of the stomp mechanic early, and it's something you shouldn't ignore. In fact, you should be bringing your foot down on the enemy corpses after every fight, because just like in Dead Space 2, when you stomp on an enemy's body, a useful item pops out of it. Moreover, certain creatures can get back up after you've seemingly killed them, but stomping on their bodies makes sure that doesn't happen. So there's some advice on how to survive the Callisto protocol. Thanks for watching, and check out thegamer.com for more.